Biggest jump on your list from last year. Biggest jump in a lot of lists. Um, Last season, you had him 23rd on the list, 40 plus future value. This year, you've got him fourth. Luis Ortiz. I mean, I know he kind of burst onto the scene at the end of the season where everybody was able to see his stuff at the major league level. How much of a part did that, like those 4 starts, play in this? And how much of it was just you see the stuff, you can't have the guy ranked 23rd in the system anymore type of deal?
Right. Yeah. That 40 plus tier is typically where those pitchers with big stuff, but at a great distance from the big leagues, are going to live for me. That's like where I value those guys. So the evaluation of Luis Ortiz, and certainly like his stuff got better in 2022. But like the evaluation was more or less the same in that we knew this was a monster slider guy with above average velo. And then it became a monster slider guy with like elite velocity. And he's a burly dude. And the strikes haven't always been there, but things seem to click, and you watch how like powerful his lower half is and how athletic he is at his size. And yeah, you start to buy that he at least has like a 50-50 chance to start. And even if he doesn't start and it's just a ridiculous, late inning weapon, you probably still value a guy who's like big league ready in that role about this much. So yeah, like I think he's one where they have the opportunity. Like if Luis Ortiz were an Astro or if he were a Dodger, he might already be in the bullpen just because of what else those teams have around. But the Pirates have an opportunity here to, let this air out and develop at the big league level to show that there's, real command there. So I think like the big thing to watch is the slider command. Guys with 2 monster pitches, even as a starter, if we're talking about like 2 plus pitches, you don't really need a third pitch. You need a third pitch like kinda every once in a while probably, but you're still going to do your thing in an impact way if you've got 2 plus pitches. And Luis Ortiz's fastball velocity is in that place. The shape and movement of his fastball doesn't quite allow it to play like it's a plus pitch, just more like a plus pitch. Oh no. But if the command gets to a point where, he's locating it more consistently, then maybe it can play like a plus pitch because of its velocity. Or if he's varying shape, like a sinker at that velocity paired with something that has more like riding life at the top of the zone, that's essentially gives him a third pitch. So really excited about him and think that, like regardless of whether or not he ends up in the bullpen long-term, still going to be a really great weapon, on the Pirates pitching staff for the next half decade plus.
Actually, I have a question regarding that, and something I've been wondering about for a little while, mainly regarding Ortiz, is I've always kind of leaned towards with these 2-pitch pitchers as starters that if they're going to be 2-pitch guys, they probably need to be fastball, curveball, just for the change of speed. Do you still see the success with it being fastball slider when the slider is hitting around 90, or are you more comfortable with it being fastball, curveball, like an AJ Burnett, Jameson Taillon type?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think what's interesting about that is the shape of the curveball, the more vertical shape of the curveball is going to make that pitch a more platoon neutral pitch. Like you will see guys who are fastball, slider, curveball use their curveball more often against opposite-handed hitters because the vertical action on the curveball is close enough. It's getting closer to the changeup's movement, straight down movement and to your arm side is what you want against opposite-handed hitters. So, I think ideally that would be true, but I think there are enough guys like I've seen Jake DeGrom and Spencer Strider and guys like that, against big league lineups, just carve with fastball slider. And some of it is because like when they're just 2 elite pitches, or even when in Spencer Strider's case, his fastball is so elite that the fact that big league hitters have to cheat on his fastball leaves them super duper vulnerable to well-located sliders, even if that slider is only like average or above. And so I used to be skeptical. I used to be pretty stingy about, projecting guys as starters with, 3 pitches. And so like I was light on Luis Castillo, who didn't really have a third pitch as a prospect. Like there are all sorts of examples. Like Framber Valdez is really just like sinker curveball. Christian Javier doesn't really have 3 pitches, especially when we're talking about guys who, like Luis Ortiz, probably funnels toward this bucket because his command is only fine. Those 5 and dive Blake Snell type starters who like don't work efficiently enough to give you 6, 7, and more often are giving you, 5, 6 innings at a time. 2 pitches when you're only going through the lineup twice is probably going to be okay.
You all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.